Jason Lee just dropped a bomb so wild that even the BeyHive doesn't know whether to defend or stay silent. He didn't beat around the bush or throw vague shade. He straight up implied that Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kelly Rowland had way more history behind the scenes than anyone ever imagined. Late-night sessions, blurred lines, and energy that was way too close for just friends. That's what Jason's hinting at. And yes, we'll say it. Allegedly, things might have gone beyond friendship, even into private territory that would shake the whole Carter empire. And before anyone calls him messy, remember Jason Lee isn't new to this game. He's the same guy who exposed Cardi B's beefs before they trended and spilled on breakups long before the tabloids caught on. When he says Beyoncé's marriage might not be what it seems, people listen, even the ones pretending they're unbothered. The wild part, Jason claims the whole situation didn't start with Jay. It started with Kelly Rowland, Beyoncé's ride or die, her shadow, her sister in everything, and maybe according to Jason, something more. That's right. If his story is true, this isn't just drama. It's a betrayal triangle between music royalty, where loyalty, love, and lies all collide. Things got really spicy when Jason went live and started talking about Beyoncé and Jay-Z like he'd seen receipts himself. Out of nowhere, he dropped a line that made everyone freeze. He said if Kelly Rowland didn't come on his show, there'd be problems. People thought he was just being dramatic for clicks. But the room went silent fast. No laughs, no jokes, just tension thick enough to cut through the screen. Then he took it even further, saying Jay-Z had people calling him behind the scenes trying to make him quiet down. That's when everyone realized this wasn't regular celebrity chatter. This was a man saying powerful names were scared of what he might reveal. The look in his eyes said it all. Jason was ready to talk, and whatever he knows, it's shaking the whole industry right now. And guess what? He didn't back down one bit. He even teased that if they keep trying to silence him, he'll drop everything. Suddenly, fans started piecing it all together. Jason's cryptic warning, the talk about Kelly, the weird distance between Beyoncé and her longtime best friend. If Jonathan's claims hold even a hint of truth, then it paints a very different picture of what's really been going on inside the Carter's world. People online began to whisper that maybe, just maybe, Jay was totally fine with Beyoncé and Kelly being closer than anyone realized. That could explain the quiet drift, the awkward gaps in public appearances, and why none of them ever addressed the elephant in the room. The more fans dug into old interviews and red carpet clips, the more it all started to line up. Suddenly, Jason's story didn't sound random or reckless. It sounded like he just ripped the lid off something that's been brewing for years. People have always noticed how Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland were inseparable back in the Destiny's Child days. They called each other sisters, lived together, and moved like one soul in two bodies. They shared everything. Dreams, stages, laughter, even heartbreaks. But once Beyoncé locked in with Jay-Z, something changed and fans caught on fast. That unbreakable best friend forever energy started to fade slowly but clearly. Kelly was still there, still loyal, still cheering from the sidelines, but that deep sisterhood vibe wasn't hitting like before. Now that Jason Lee and Jonathan Hayes have both hinted at what might have gone down behind the scenes, people can't help but look back differently. Maybe it wasn't just distance. Maybe it was forced separation. Some fans online are convinced Jay-Z might have stepped in and drawn a line once he noticed how strong that bond between Beyoncé and Kelly really was. And that's where things start to sound a little too real. The drama reached a boiling point when Beyoncé dropped her Renaissance film premiere. Everyone who was somebody got an invite except Jason Lee. He'd reportedly dropped thousands prepping for the event, expecting to be treated like part of her circle, maybe even one of her insiders. But when his name wasn't on that guest list, he snapped. Jason went live and called Beyoncé out, saying she doesn't support black media. But listen closely. It wasn't just professional frustration. His tone pure betrayal. He sounded like a man who'd been iced out after getting too close to secrets he wasn't supposed to know. Right after that outburst, he started dropping clues about Beyoncé's marriage not being as flawless as people think. He circled back to Kelly Rowland again, tying her name to the tension. And that's when fans realized this wasn't about being left off an invite list. It was personal. It was revenge. Social media exploded. TikTok threads, Twitter spaces, deep dives, all focused on Beyoncé and Kelly's dynamic. Old Destiny's Child clips started resurfacing. Long hugs that lingered, whispers between songs, and Jay-Z's stiff body language whenever Kelly came around. Some fans even pointed out a throwback interview where his whole energy shifted the second Kelly spoke, like he couldn't hide the discomfort. And let's be real, Jay's history doesn't exactly help his case. He's already admitted to cheating during the Lemonade and 444 eras, and his name's been tied to rumors with Foxy Brown, Rihanna, and others for years. All that talk about power, control, and temptation now feels way too familiar. This whole situation's turning into one messy remix of loyalty, love, and secrets. One the Carters probably never wanted anyone to replay. So, when Jonathan Hayes claimed that Jay-Z allegedly likes watching or being in control of certain private situations, people didn't exactly gasp in disbelief, they nodded. It didn't sound impossible at all. Jason Lee might have come off wild with his delivery, but Jay's own past makes that rumor hit different. His history of control, his image of power, and the cheating he already admitted to. It all gives this so-called triangle theory some real weight. Suddenly, the idea of a deeper, more complicated dynamic between him, Beyoncé, and Kelly doesn't sound like pure fanfiction. It sounds like something that could fit the pattern. And when you really think about it, the whole situation paints their marriage in a strange new light. It doesn't look like that fairy tale romance anymore. It looks more like a partnership built on control, image, and maybe even strategy. That's what got fans whispering. If Jason and Jonathan were both hinting at something true, then maybe the perfect Carter empire isn't as flawless as it seems. After those comments went viral, people started noticing something even more suspicious. Kelly Rowland began moving very differently. She stopped showing up at Beyoncé-related events, started keeping her interviews short, and dodged every Destiny's Child question like it was a trap. She shifted the focus to her solo projects and family life instead. Like she was quietly stepping away from a world that suddenly got too complicated. Here's where it got even more telling. Beyoncé didn't say a word. And anyone who follows her knows silence is her superpower. That woman has one rule. Never explain, never react. She didn't post, didn't deny, didn't even hint that the rumors existed. She just kept working. But fans noticed that her circle got smaller. She's been showing up alone, moving quieter, and keeping the spotlight strictly on herself. Normally, when the internet comes for her, Beyoncé kills the noise with her presence. A look, a photo, a lyric, something. But this time, nothing. No subtle clapback, no throwback post with Kelly, no denial, just silence. And that silence, it's got people talking even louder. Some fans say she's ignoring Jason on purpose, refusing to give him free promo. Others think it's deeper, that her silence might be strategic. Because if even a small piece of what Jason said is true, reacting could open doors she once kept shut. When Beyoncé stayed silent and Kelly pulled back, people began digging into the timeline like detectives with magnifying glasses. Fans started connecting old dots that suddenly made sense under this new light. They pointed out how Beyoncé and Kelly's interactions over the last few years seemed oddly calculated, almost like they were avoiding each other in public. Red carpet events, award shows, even private parties. Fans noticed they were never photographed side by side anymore. And when they were, it looked stiff, not like the sisterly warmth they once had. Then came the wildest part. Industry insiders began whispering that this whole fallout didn't just affect their friendship, it disrupted entire business deals. Some say Beyoncé quietly put distance between herself and Kelly after learning that Kelly had been approached for a tell-all style documentary about the early Destiny's Child years. Rumor has it that someone offered Kelly a major check to talk about her time in the group. And although she never took the deal, the offer alone might have made things awkward. Imagine the tension if Beyoncé thought private moments from those early years could end up public. People online started comparing Kelly's subtle shade in interviews, too. In one clip, when a host mentioned Beyoncé's massive success, Kelly smiled but said, "I'm proud of her, but I'm proud of myself, too." It sounded harmless at first, but fans twisted it into a sign of lingering resentment. Combine that with Jason Lee's warnings and Jonathan Hayes' claims, and it suddenly feels like we're watching layers of a hidden story peel back one by one. Even more suspicious, Jay-Z's been extra low-key lately. He hasn't spoken publicly about Beyoncé's projects, hasn't been seen beside her at random events, and fans think that's deliberate. Some even believe he's keeping a low profile because he knows these rumors hit too close to home. Others think it's just damage control, waiting for the internet storm to pass before the Carters step out again, looking unbothered. Whatever's going on, one thing's for sure. The bond that once felt unbreakable between Beyoncé and Kelly now feels like a ghost of what it used to be. If Jason ever decides to drop the full receipts he keeps hinting at, the entire internet's going to explode. Because right now, this whole thing feels like a ticking time bomb. One that could rewrite how people see Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kelly forever. The craziest part, Beyoncé's silence might actually be what's keeping the story alive. Every time she chooses not to respond, fans dig deeper, desperate to find the truth hiding between the glitz, the lyrics, and those perfectly filtered moments. And you can feel it. The tension, the questions, the mystery. If what Jason's holding is real, it's not just messy gossip. It's one of the biggest secrets Hollywood's ever managed to keep quiet. We're talking about a story that could shake the foundation of music royalty. A truth that Beyoncé's worked years to keep buried behind flawless performances and controlled press moments. But the internet's not letting go this time. Everyone's waiting for that one slip, that one leaked clip, that one moment that proves everything. Because let's be real, this doesn't just feel like drama. It feels like history unfolding in real time. If Jason ever presses that upload button, this won't be about rumors anymore. It'll be about legacy, power, and the cracks hiding behind perfection. Nobody ever thought they'd see the day where Beyoncé's inner circle became the center of scandal. But here we are watching it unfold piece by piece like a puzzle only Jason seems to know how to finish. But what do you think? Did Jason really touch a nerve, or is this all smoke and no fire? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button. Share this video with your crew and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what drops next. I'll see you in the next one. And make sure to click the video on your screen right now for more celebrity drama that's just as wild as